Let's get loaded on Let's Do. Now this is
Yeah, what is that?
This is White Claw Surge. So it's 8% alcohol. So it's not like it's kind of more. It's a more manly. That's why it's blue.
It's a little better,
right? It's a little bit more manly than.
So it's just like I'm not masculine, but I am an alcoholic. So
I'm not super masculine, but I do like to get bombed a little bit quicker than drinking like 18 regular White Claws.
Don't expect me to hold large sums of weight above my head.
Right. Well, I never assume that. I mean, even when I will put
as much alcohol in my body as quickly as possible.
Andy, even when I work out, I just do the resistance bands because that's like I'm like, oh, there's resistance there, but like things are heavy and I don't like picking them. Like
I do.
For me, like weightlifting is like you're moving, like when you move and you're like, oh, I gotta lift these boxes and I gotta put these boxes. It's like like I gotta dismantle the bed and lift.
No one likes moving. No one likes moving.
No. Well, I mean, nowadays at our age and our extravagant salaries, we would pay someone to move us. But I mean, look at all your comic books. You want to move those things? You don't want to put those in boxes and move them.
Nah, they're heavy.
They're heavy because you're gonna put them in boxes and you're gonna move them, and now you hire someone. I don't like to lift things, Andy. That's why no free ads. That's why I drink White Claw Blue.
It's the minimum lifting of alcoholism.
It's the most masculine, feminine alcohol you can intake. All right, this is we're off to a great start. And just for our folks at home, so this is episode 117. By the way, we should introduce ourselves. This is episode 117 of the Loaded on Lansdowne Red Sox baseball podcast. I'm your host, Mark Chikaris. Alongside me virtually today is Andrew Andrews. And Andy, this is what happens when we don't podcast right after work. We podcast at night, the day of work, and we've already had a couple in us. So there we go. It's gonna get messy, and we start talking about we had a game our moving plans. What do we have any movers that we suggest? Like what's happening? It's disaster. All right.
Update. Right now we got Red Sox 4-2 in the top of the 8th against Seattle.
Yep. And so I should probably get my phone going on to that thing too. Hold on. Because as Andy and I talked about pre-show, I'm in my basement and I have a TV down here. It's like a finished basement, and I have no idea where the remote control is because my children have destroyed my life. And all I want to do is turn my head this way and watch the Red Sox game, and I can't because it's stuck on the Cartoon Network. All right.
Have you thought about it? Have you thought about looking them in the eye and saying, "Father needs the remote control"?
We did that. We did that. Yeah, we did that about 45 minutes ago, and there was a mass looking for the remote, and the remote wasn't found. And then I said, Andrew, go upstairs. I have a son named Andrew, just for our listeners. Andrew, go upstairs and get the other remote to see if we can make that happen down here. And you can turn the TV on, but you can't use the voice remote, nor can you do anything. The only thing you can do is turn it on. So you can't access the guide. You can't. It's a lot of fun. I just want to watch Red Sox game. Red Sox game should be on right there. All right. Anyway, Andy, the Red Sox have won 2 series in a row.
They're back, baby.
They won the series. Are they back?
Yeah.
They won the series against the Texas Rangers, but I think most impressively, the Rangers series, great, whatever. But the Astro series was kind of wild.
That was something to see. It really was.
And they won. And their best pitcher had a historically awful game.
Oof.
In Nate Eovaldi, who gave up 5 home runs in 1 inning. I don't know if it should ever have come to that, but that happened. But
it happens. I don't know, man. It's easy to say they should have taken him out. I understand, but it happens so fast.
Yeah, this is true.
It happens so fast.
This is true. And I listened to a bunch of media from ex-Red Sox players, either on podcasts or, I think you talked about this somewhere. I don't know where it was, but I don't think it was on a Nesson, but it was basically like in those games, like that never gets in guys' heads. Like when you get absolutely ass reamed,
it's just one of those days.
Yeah, it's just like, well, wow, that sucked. And then you just kind of go home and you're like, that blew. And you yeah.
It was 1 inning, which sounds bad, but it was like 6 pitches. It was that fast.
Right. And basically what they were saying was the thing that affects you more as a player are the games that are like wicked tight and you're battling. Like there's a walk off and you're like, son of a bitch, and it's just, you know what I mean. But they say these games. I mean, that was the second inning.
Yeah,
third.
I bet it's probably if you can just say, hey, the baseball gods were against me, and just like
right. This is one of those games they just got clobbered, and it happened.
Like if you're playing hockey and like you take a shot and your stick breaks, I mean it wasn't meant to be. You know what I mean? It's
no, and I mean let's face it. It happens to every team, every year.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, you get your shit pushed in. Every team does. The best teams do. The Yankees are going to have it happen to them this year. Like what the Dodgers are going to have it happen if they already haven't. It happens, and then you kind of just got to be like, hey, that's it. But then the next night, so after the Eovaldi kind of disaster where the Red Sox lost 13 to whatever, I don't know.
Now normally the next night would be another nightmare. You know what I mean? So
right. So this is my point about what the players were saying, right? Is that you come off of that game and then you win the series in huge fashion, right? Because you have Trevor Story having a historic night. Everyone's been waiting for him to get going, and he did. 3 home runs, a stolen base, 7 RBIs. He raised his average 20 points, right? And we were talking about this today privately. I think I already said that.
Let's add on the breaking news tonight. He has a grand slam. I mean, right. Let's add that to it. I mean, come on.
The game that I am unable to watch. Because
of the remote. Yes.
Right. He's hit a grand slam. He's hit a grand slam. But no, what we talked about privately was he is the first. A little bit of trivia for our listeners: the first second baseman to hit 3 home runs and have a stolen base and 7 RBIs in Major League Baseball history. And he is only the 3rd middle infielder to do
really
that. So there you go. So everyone waiting for Trevor Story to make his mark on the Red Sox. I would say this week he's done pretty darn well. And I knew he's a great athlete, dude. I saw him make a catch the other day, and I'm just like, this guy's he's gonna figure it out. It's gonna happen for him.
You like put it back in your pants a little bit, Mark. Here, all right. It's good. It's great. He's a professional player. I hope he's turned things around. I mean, we saw that stat the other day that was on the TV where besides Bogarts, Devers and JD Martinez. Everybody else in the team is batting what, 172?
Yeah, like under 200. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, listen, it's a huge step forward if this guy is back in and if he's engaged, because
it's another bat in the lineup that's going to do damage with those three guys.
If you got four guys in the lineup hitting, you're in pretty good shape. You know what I mean? You can contend with most teams.
Absolutely. And here's my thing. Like, Trevor Story isn't going to be a guy who hits like 330 with like
no, I don't think so.
With like 28 bombs. He's not going to be that guy, but I think he can be a guy who has nights like he's had. And I mean, he's a perennial all-star contender. He's had great success, but he's
I think he is today's baseball player, launch angle, blah blah blah, where I think his average will always be under 300 to 280 on a good year.
5, yep.
Yeah, 280 on a good year, but that might get you 30 home runs. You know what I mean? And if anytime he can go 30 plus, that is, you'll take that.
Absolutely. All right. So speaking of hot hitters, JD Martinez. All right. So here's my thing with him. After David Ortiz left the Red Sox, there was a 1-year gap. All right. So Ortiz retired in 2016.
Yep.
2017, there was no JD Martinez. 2018, the Red Sox get JD Martinez. They win the World Series handily. Like they ran the table. They were the best team in baseball.
Yeah,
they won 150 billion games, right? So I was always under, like, when David Ortiz retired, I was always the guy who was like, I want to do what other teams do, specifically the Yankees, really, which was like, you rest good hitters
yes
in the field, and then you make them the DH for that game. You just give them days off, but they're back still in the lineup, and you give good defensive players a chance to play in the field. And, hopefully that defense will offset the offense, and you give your offensive players the thing.
In a perfect world, you have 4 outfielders that can hit, or you have, 3 outfielders, 2 catcher. You know what I mean? Like it's somebody who can do both, and
right.
The Red Sox have never been close to achieving that.
Right. So then the Red Sox bring in JD. And besides 2020, which I don't even count as a season because that was an absolute freaking shit show.
Yeah, I agree.
All around. Besides 2020, JD Martinez has been outstanding. And I had a JD Martinez printout, and I don't know what happened to it. I don't know if I left it at work, and God knows with this computer at home, I ain't printing anything out because it takes forever. But he's been awesome. So, like, his contract's up. He loves it here. He wants to stay here. Okay. He's a really, really good hitter. I mean, 26 game on base streak.
Yeah.
And then he had a 16-game hitting streak. The dude is just mashing. He's hitting like 335 or whatever the last time I checked. Like,
I mean, listen,
what do you do with this guy? Because he's 35.
No, he's a classic. I mean, he would be the kind of guy if, hey, man, do you want to do the $10 million a year until we're done with each other deal, like re-up every year kind of thing? I mean, he has to live in reality a little bit. I would overpay him for a very short. Again, we talk about this all the time.
Right.
I would overpay him like for I'd give him $15 million or maybe for a 1-year contract. You know what I mean? Well, I'll overpay for the short contract.
But that's a good number because his contract right now was it was kind of top heavy. So in other words, he was getting like 22 mil for the first, I think it was 3 years.
Yeah, towards the end it was.
And then it goes down to 19. Right.
So,
this year, I think last year and this year he's getting 19. So would you say to him, hey man, listen, let's do 15?
I would even, honestly, I would do the same. I do 19.
2 years, 15. This is what I would do. 2 years, 15. Option for 3 at 13.
Oh, look at you. You're clever. No, I'd say, listen, whatever you're making right now, I'll keep
clever. I'm a very clever person.
I would say, listen, man, $19 million a year until we're done with each other.
Let's just keep all right. So you're going high.
I would even do it. Whatever. Keep it the same. It's $4 million to the Boston Red Sox. Okay. Keep it the same. I don't want to insult you. You don't need to take a pay cut. I'll pay you the same thing right now going forward. 1 year at a time.
Yeah, no, I like that. But I mean, the haters are going to say, well, you can use that money to sign Devers and Xander. Why would you do that?
If $4 million is stopping me from signing any of those two absolute thoroughbred studs in Major League Baseball, then what are we doing? It's a waste of time. Let's just trade everybody away.
Yeah, and then you never know, like, you never know what's in the brain of the Red Sox. The Red Sox ownership and management, you never know what's going on in their brain. So this is a good segue too, because we didn't even talk about this. So Xander says, yeah, I want to be I want to talk about my contract during the season.
The crowd was chanting, re-sign him, right. Re-sign him. And he said, I'm trying to earn that every day or something like that. Right. I'm paraphrasing, but yeah.
So he says, I'm open to talks. And Boris is like, right. But ultimately, Xander, I mean,
he makes a decision whenever
he makes a decision. So it's like, he can, it's just like
Boris is open to talks if they're going to give you tons of money.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't want him talking about being open to talks.
Right.
That's all it is.
Exactly. Yeah. So if they say, Xander, we're going to give you a 10-year, $300 billion contract. Like, Scott Boris is open.
No, we're not talking.
We're not talking.
So no, I think he wants to be. This is going to be a bad one for me, man. If they lose Bogaerts, it's going to be a bad one for me, a real bad one.
I think it's going to be a worse one for me than Mookie Betts. I mean, I loved Mookie, of course, but we all knew that was coming in with the Bogaerts thing, because he had that. He got that.
Bogaerts was making it pretty clear that he was. No. Mookie Betts, it was kind of clear that it wasn't that he wanted to leave.
Right.
I don't think, but he kind of made it clear, hey man,
I'm playing the game. Yep.
Xander Bogaerts has really, really, I think, demonstrated that he wants to be a Boston Red Sox. And if they fuck this up, dude, this one's gonna hurt.
And Xander Bogaerts has clearly stated that he absolutely loves being here. And
this is gonna hurt, man.
By the way, he is the de facto captain of this team.
Yes,
without question. He is without the person who had, without the fact that he is the person who has groomed another star player in Rafael Devers.
Yeah,
took him under his wing and been like, dude, this is how we do things here. And Devers has responded. And both of those guys, for the love of God, John Henry,
they're elite players.
They are elite players who can play in Boston.
Proven.
And they enjoy it.
I know.
Yeah, jackass. Stop undervaluing. We talked about this like last week or the week before, or actually we probably talked about this every week since we've started the podcast. Stop undervaluing the talent you have.
Listen.
Overvaluing the free agents that come in here and blow like one David Price.
Did you you heard what happened in Pittsburgh? He Malkin and Letang, both older guys.
Yeah.
They got
for the Penguins.
Yeah, for the Penguins. They got an absolute insult contract. Like it was once again, it was a John Henry Boston Red Sox offer where for both of them it was so low it would be less insulting just to not make it off. You know what I mean? It was just like the last Bogarts one where we'll give you $20 million a year for the next 3 years. It was I think they offered them 5 times 3, which for them absolute disgrace. And it's just like, don't make the offer then. Why make the insult offer? And they constantly do it. I don't get it.
I don't either. If you don't want the player,
it took them 6 months to piss people off in Pittsburgh.
Right. I mean, if you don't want the player, just don't offer the contract. Be like, and have the balls.
Look him in the eye and say, it's time to move on, man.
To come out with it and be like, hey, listen, Xander, we're not offering you a contract. And I know you're a fan. Like, I would respect them more if they said, if John Henry came up to the mic or Chaim Bloom or whoever and said, listen, Xander, love you, mean it. We're not, I mean, obviously not during like the season.
Any deal we're willing to make would be an insult to you. We're not going to come close to
right. We're heading in another direction.
We wouldn't want to insult you with a bad deal.
Trevor's story is going to be the shortstop of the future. Like whatever you say, that's fine.
No, they can't do it. They're going to start the Boston Globe smear campaign soon.
Yep, absolutely. Boston Globe, super fun reads every day. Everything's negative. It's great. I love reading the Globe. All right. Other news. Ryan Brasier sent down to the Worcester Red Sox, which means, you know what? I'm buying my Worcester Red Sox tickets right now, Andy. Andy, grab the girls. By the way, did you hear my daughter's voicemail to your daughters on the voicemail I left you?
Yes, I did. I heard
okay, that, she was like, I miss you guys. It was like sunset arguments.
Very sweet.
We can get those crazy kids together.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway,
that's on our own time. All right.
Let's get the kids together, Andy. We're going to Worcester. We're seeing Brasier pitch.
Oh
dude.
God.
Come on.
He's been so bad this year.
Look at your calendar.
Absolutely clueless. Can't find the plate. I forgot how to pitch. It's this bullpen too. It's just random moments forgetting how to pitch. Listen, they won the other day by big, but they were one swing away from losing that game the other night and because it was long-haired freak there. What's his face with the big buck teeth? He
there's so many long hairs on the team. I'm like,
what do you throw? 7 balls in a row or something like that? Walked in a run immediately. He comes in up by 5 with the bases loaded. So even a grand slam that's not enough pressure. Let's walk the first one in to make it a 4-run game. So now the grand slam really is in play.
By the way, it's 4-3 now.
Here we go.
It's 4-3 bottom 8.
No, the bullpen's a problem, and obviously the starting pitching is better than any of us imagined. But
yeah, I mean, it's crazy. And you know, Walker did well today. It's his first start coming off of an injury. So I mean, he pitched. You know, he didn't make it through 5, and you want to see him. Okay,
but as we talk
about baseball,
the emergence of Houck in the bullpen, and my
you hated it at first. You wanted Whitlock in the bullpen. You wanted Houck in the starting rotation, but it's kind of like he's getting there, right?
No, he is getting there. But my problem is that I'm concerned that if he does well in the bullpen, they're going to say, "Ooh, this cements the fact, or this proves that Whitlock should be a starter." And I don't think Whitlock should be a starter. I think just from his body language, from the way he moves out there, he's so much better out of the pen. And in today's baseball, if you could have 2 guys,
right,
kind of in that Whitlock, Andrew Miller fashion, that could go, think about it, man. If you have a guy who can go, pitcher A does 3 innings on Tuesday, pitcher B does 2 innings on Wednesday, pitcher A does 2 innings on Thursday, and if you can roll with that in the middle of your lineup, the middle of your week, that's a powerful thing. And I don't think they're going to see that. They're going to keep starting them.
Well, listeners, Andrew Andrews and I have had a boner for an Andrew Miller situation for like 10 years.
Hard.
For like 10 years since the whole, starting pitcher thing fizzled. Yeah, like it's like a starting pitcher does not go 8 innings and then like you bring in your closer for the 9th. We've had that hard on for a long time. So what Andy, and I'm speaking for you. So if you disagree, please let me know. But like our thing is, right? Like tonight, Michael Walker goes not even 5. All right. So they bring in one of the long hairs.
Yeah.
I don't even I can't even I couldn't if they shot my kids in the face, I wouldn't be able to pick them out of a lineup because they all have long hair. All right. So anyway, they bring in one of the long hairs. He does good. He shuts it down. Right. So then you bring in Tanner Houck. He pitches 2 innings. Okay. This is ending in 10 minutes.
We're good.
And then you bring in Whitlock to pitch the next 2 innings. And you have 2 it's almost like you have 2 dominant starter closers. They're like starter closers. They're like, yep.
I don't hate that idea either, but
why not that? I mean, I know you can't do it every night.
No,
but you can do it every other night.
I still feel that right now, and with their bullpen, no lead is safe. I'm waiting, and it's just dumb stuff like hit by the pitch, like things like that. Like they're not even walks. They're not even making guys earn it. It's brutal.
All right. Ready for the worst games ever offensively? All right. So I went down a rabbit hole today. Trevor Story had one of the most historically epic second baseman games ever. And I don't know, who I clicked on Baseball Reference? It was Chris Davis. Okay. Chris Davis. And then he's had some of the worst seasons ever.
Really?
So here we go. Ron Swoboda. April 1968. Mets versus Astros. Bases reached 0. Outs made 10.
What?
Strikeouts 5. Plate appearances 10. Okay. So outs made means if you hit into double plays and stuff, like the amount of outs you make. Fly out in 2nd inning, pop out in 4th inning, strike out in 6th inning, strike out in 8th inning, strike out in 11th inning, fly out in the 13th, fly out in the 16th inning, strike out in the 18th, strike out in the 21st inning.
Dude, the coach hated him.
Fly out in the 23rd inning.
Take him out of the fucking game.
Oh, God. All right. So his teammate, same game. Same game. Tommy Agee. Bases reached 0. Outs made 10. Strikeouts 4. Plate appearances 10. Ground out to 1st. Fly out to 3rd. Strikeout in 6th. Pop out in 8th. Ground out in 10th. Ground out in 12th. Strikeout in 15th. Strikeout in the 18th inning. He's exhausted.
Dude.
My boy's exhausted. Strike out in the 20th inning. Ground out in the 23rd inning.
That's a week-long slump in one game.
I know.
Oh God, those poor men.
But here's the worst part. Tommy Agee is back in a different date.
No,
August
Tommy.
5th, 1971. This is 68, 69, 70. So okay, so this is 3 years later. Mets versus Braves.
Oh no.
Bases reached to 0.
Oh,
Outs made 10.
oh, Tommy.
He only struck out once, but he had 8 plate appearances.
That poor guy's got a mother. Come on.
Okay. Double play in the 8th inning. So that's outs made.
All right. Well, that's all right.
Outs
Blame
made.
the other guy.
Line out in the 3rd, double another double play in the 5th.
Oh, Tommy.
Fly out in the 9th. Fly out in the 12th inning. Strike out in the 14th inning. Fly out in the 16th inning. Look, we can go down this.
His coaches.
But Joe, okay, let's do this thing. Let's do this. JD Martinez. June 18th, 2019. This is what we're going to finish up in because evidently Zoom is telling us that we have 5 minutes and 27 seconds.
Yeah, I guess
Oh,
with the
there's only
paper Zoom. I
two
guess
of
with
us.
the
I don't
paper
know
Zoom.
what's going on. All right. June 18th, 2019. Red Sox Twins. Bases reached 9. Outs made. JD Martinez had 5 strikeouts.
Ooh.
8 plate appearances, double play in the 1st inning, strikeout in the 4th inning, fly out in the 6th, strikeout in the 9th, strikeout in the 11th, line out in the 13th, strikeout in the 15th,
Oh,
strikeout in the
GD.
7th, strikeout in the 17th.
It shows what a man he is to come back from that.
They're like, click on the box score. It's like, nope, don't want it.
No, oh, JD. We love you, baby.
Hey, what do you got on the Celtics? We got 4 minutes.
I tell you, man, I thought if they play like they played last night, they're world beaters. I mean, they had everybody back. I'm not a big basketball guy. They are a fun team to watch. Fun team to watch, man.
I mean, we grew up with the Celtics in the 80s, and the NBA in the 80s was, I mean, that was world beaters, man. I mean, people hated each other. They hated each other. There were legit rivalries. There was legit shit talking. There was like people were like punching each other in the face. Like it was bananas. They make so much money now. They're like, hey, what's up, bro? Yeah.
I know.
Going on our yacht. Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's a thing. The NBA isn't like it used to be. People don't hate each other like they used to.
Celtics play hard though, man.
But yeah, I like this team. I like that team. Yeah, they played well. All right, Andrew. This is it for number, what was it?
117.
117 of the Loaded on Lansdowne Red Sox Baseball Podcast. I am your host, Mark Chikaris. Alongside me virtually is Andrew Andrews, and we will see you next time.
Peace.